Namaste to all listeners. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Today let us discover the sparkling magic hidden in Lord Vishnu's name with folded hands. Let us invite Lord Narayana into our hearts so his divine grace may inspire us to be brave, gentle, and full of love as we journey through the story. Srimad Bhagavatam, Skandam 6 and chapter 1 talks about the history of life of Ajāmila. Come discover how a single moment can rewrite a lifetime. Join us for the story of Ajāmila. Just as a small candle conquers a room full of shadows, a small amount of grace can overcome a lifetime of hardship. In Srimad Bhagavatam is a living mirror that reflects this truth, showing us through every story that no soul is ever beyond the reach of grace. For example, we can see many examples in Srimad Bhagavatam. Dhruva Charitam, we can see a child's broken heart turned into an unshakable star of determination. In the story of Prahlada, we find a heart so pure that it transformed every hardship into a blessing and every fear into a song of grace. In Gajendra Moksha, we learned that when our own strength fails, a single humble cry for help can move the heavens. In Ambarisha Charita, we witness the power of a quiet mind and a humble heart to withstand the greatest storms. And in Sudama Charitam, we discover that a handful of simple flattened rice offered with love is worth more than all the gold in the world. No matter how low a person falls, whether their mind grows weak or their body suffers, life never shuts its doors forever. Human life is precious, yet brief. The time we are granted in this world is not endless. It flows quietly like a river that never turns back. Each breath, each day, each choice is a gift entrusted to us. Within this limited span of one lifetime, we are given countless chances to grow, to learn, to love, and to rise beyond our own limitations. So this truth reminds us that despair is never final and failure is never permanent. Even when we feel unworthy or broken, grace does not measure our worth by our falls, but by our openness to rise again. When the heart bows in humility and the mind opens to faith, grace arrives, sometimes silently, sometimes suddenly, and lives a life in ways no human effort alone ever could. So thus every moment matters. In the short journey of the single lifetime, even one moment touched by grace can transform a soul and give meaning to all the days that follow. If you have ever felt like it is too late to change, look at the life of Ajāmila. His story shows us that one sincere moment can undo a lifetime of mistakes. So let us start Ajāmila's story here. Long ago, in the holy city of Kanyakubja. Kanya means girl, Kubja means someone whose body is curved forward. There lived a young man named Ajāmila. Kanyakubja is known as Kanauj, located in the state of Uttar Pradesh in India. It sits on the banks of the sacred river Ganga, about 80 kilometers, that is 50 miles northwest of Kanpur. Bhagavatam says this village was known for its spiritual fragrance. It was not just a small village, it was once an imperial capital of northern India. Under the great King Harshavardhana in 7th century, it reached the peak of its glory. Travelers from as far as China wrote about the hundreds of temples, beautiful gardens, and great wealth. Kanyakubja had become a world-renowned center of wisdom. It was a city filled with Vedic chants, sacred fires, and scholars. This is where our Ajāmila was born. Ajāmila's home was a place of peace presided over by his parents, two saintly souls whose lives were as clear as mountain water. His father was a wise teacher, and his mother was kind, patient, and deeply devoted to God. Together, they raised Ajāmila to be a vessel of light. Ajāmila was the picture of Vedic grace, serene, disciplined, and devoted. His mornings were spent in the scent of sandalwood and the resonance of ancient chants. He cared for his elderly parents as if they were the deities in human form, and his heart was a vessel of purity. Ajāmila lived his life according to the righteous conduct with the due respect of our traditions. One day, he set out to a distant forest to collect camphor, darba, grass, and other items for puja. During his journey, Ajāmila came across a youthful and beautiful woman of the Shudra class with a man. Through the grove, he saw the man lost in intoxication, locked in a passionate embrace with the woman of ill repute. Ajāmila was astonished by her extraordinary beauty. Though his mind shouted for him many times, "Don't look there, look away," his senses betrayed him. A seed of desire, long dormant, sprouted in an instant. The flowers fell from his hands, and with him his years of discipline also. So, determined to make her his wife by any means, he inquired about her, chatted with her, and eventually married her. So, thus, Ajāmila, though born into a noble Brahmin family, abandoned all his family traditions and sacred customs to serve a life with beautiful women from a lower caste. So days, weeks, months, and years flew by like dry leaves caught in a storm. In the process, he lost his vast wealth and became the father of several children. To support his wife and children, he eventually resorted to many sinful deeds. Though all his children had different names, his youngest son alone bore the sacred name of Narayana. You know how did this happen? One day, a holy sage came walking through the village. His face was calm, his eyes were filled with compassion, and the Lord's name rested constantly on his lips. In those days, following an ancient and loving customs, the sages moved from house to house like a quiet breeze, blessing families and placing sacred names upon newborn children. When he came to Ajāmila's house, Ajāmila's wife bowed respectfully and told kindly, "O revered sage, please do not come inside. We are not good people and our home is not pure." The sage smiled gently. He did not feel offended, as saints understood the ways household's life. Gazing with gentle compassion, the sage looked upon the woman holding her infant, because this last son was just born at that time. So sage asked the mother softly, "What is the name of this child?" The woman lowered her eyes and replied, "We have not yet named him, revered sage." The sage closed his eyes for a moment, as if listening to a voice within. Then the sage said slowly and clearly, "Call this child Narayana." Life did not remain the same in Ajāmila's house also. Where remembrance of the Lord grows weak, suffering finds room to enter. Nothing in life stays the same for long. The years moved forward quietly, one after the other, like falling leaves. Trouble born from Ajāmila's past actions slowly entered the home. One by one, his elder children grew up. Some left the house in search of work, some married and went away, and some, unable to bear the weight of poverty and unrest, drifted apart from the family. The bonds that once held them together weakened like threads worn thin with time. Ajāmila's wife, who had endured much sorrow and hardship, grew tired in body and spirit. Her health slowly faded, and one day, leaving behind her youngest child, she departed from this world. Her passing left a deep silence in the house. After that, the home that once echoed with many voices became still. Some of us feel that life will remain exactly as it is today, as if we are here forever. But remember, change begins long before we become aware of it. As Lord Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 27, Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityur dhruvam janma mritasya cha tasmada pariharyarthe natvam shochitum arhasi. For one who is born, death is certain, and for one who dies, birth is also certain. Since this change cannot be avoided, we should not be careless or forgetful about life, the purpose of life. Finally, old age weakens and disease took hold of Ajāmila, as it happens to all of us, and he drew very close to death. He was already drowning in the deep whirlpool of unrighteousness. Look, listen, this is the sound of his final gasp for breath. Only a few moments left. The time for the soul to depart the body is near. In his old age, Ajāmila loved his son deeply and named him Narayana, a holy name of God. All day he would call, "Narayana, come here. Narayana, eat here. Narayana, don't go there." So Ajāmila did not know that his holy name was protecting him. Death and aging are the only true fair things in this world. They do not care if a person is a king or a beggar, a scholar or an illiterate. Everything else in this world is Maya, an illusion that comes and goes. Weakness teaches us humility. Disease reminds us that we are not in total control. Old age forces us to look inward because the outward world is fading. When weakness and disease take hold, it is nature's way of slowing us down. Throughout our lives, we are busy earning money, building houses, fighting battles, etc. etc. When the body weakens, we are forced to stop doing and start being. It is in this forced silence that Ajāmila finally remembered Narayana. For many of us, it is only when the body fails that the soul finally begins to speak. At the age of 88, death came for Ajāmila. As he lay on his bed, the air turned ice cold. Three terrifying figures, Yama-dootas, appeared. They were the messengers of the King of Justice, and they carried heavy ropes to bind the soul of the man who had wasted his life. Ajāmila saw the dark ropes reaching for him. In that moment of absolute terror, his mind did not go to his gold or any of his pride. It went to his child. With a voice that cracked like dry wood, he screamed, "Oh Narayana, save me! There is no one to protect me in these final moments but you, please." Though he called out his son's name, that heartbroken cry of Ajāmila echoed through the atmosphere and awakened Lord Vishnu in Vaikunta. "Who is crying out for me?" The Lord wondered. Looking through his divine vision, he understood the situation. Within moments, by the Lord's command, 3 messengers of Vishnu approached Ajāmila. "Ajāmila, do not be afraid. We shall protect you." One of them turned to the messengers of the Yama-dootas. "O servants of Yama, you have come by the command of the Lord Justice. But release these bonds at once." The messengers of Yama replied politely, "O Lord, please forgive us. This Ajāmila is a great sinner. He ignored his duties and customs to live a life of lust with a fallen woman." A messenger of Vishnu asked, "Is that his only mistake?" "No, Prabhu," they replied. "To feed his family, this wicked man abandoned his Brahmin values, trapped many animals and birds, and indulged in drinking, cheating, and adultery. He lived without a single thought of God. That is why we have bound him." The Vishnu-dootas spoke, and their voices sounded like a humming of the earth itself. "You see only the surface. We see the heart." In his final moment, he called out the holy name Narayana. Whether he meant the divine or his son, doesn't matter. The name is pure. It is like fire. It burns whether you touch it knowingly or by accidentally. His cry has dissolved his past. He is free now. The messenger of Vishnu replied, "It is true that Ajāmila committed many sins. However, he is also a blessed soul who had the great fortune of chanting the mantra of Narayana in his final moments. With that, all his sins have been destroyed from the very roots. It is not possible for everyone to utter the name of Narayana at the time of death. So, therefore, you must return." After the golden messengers of Vishnu had departed, Ajāmila was left alone, yet his heart was not afraid. He knew that mercy had visited him and that the Lord's name was more powerful than all fear and all sin. Seeking a life of purity and devotion, Ajāmila traveled to the holy banks of Ganges at Haridwar. He no longer repeated the name Narayana with his lips alone. He felt it in every breath, every heartbeat, every drop of his blood. Years passed peacefully. When death finally came to him again, it arrived not as a terror, but as gentle companions of light. The same golden guardians of Vishnu returned smiling like the dawn and took him by the hand. With calm hearts and luminous grace, they led Ajāmila away from the world he had once lost and toward the eternal light home among the stars. So, why the story stays with us, the power of sound. A name is more than just letters, it's a vibration that can change out inner world. So the greatness of the story is such that even Melpattur Narayana Bhattatiripadu, in his immortal work of Narayaniyam, pauses to describe Ajāmila's life in a single powerful dashakam, 22, Ajāmilopākhyanam. It starts like this, the first verse. Ajāmilo nama Mahīsurapura charan vibho dharma padhan grihashrami gurorgirakananametya drishtavan sudrishtashilam kuladam adakulam. The meaning is, O Lord, in ancient times there lived a Brahmana named Ajāmila. Although he was initially a man of good conduct, he happened to stray from the path of dharma by chance. One day he saw a low-born woman and becoming deeply infatuated with her, he lived with her in great delight, completely losing his self-control. So the summary is, O Lord Guruvayurappa, you are incredibly powerful and kind. Just as you protected Ajāmila, please protect me from all my troubles and pain. So Lord Narayana gave Yama-dootas a very clear, loud command. Never go near anywhere who is a devotee of the Lord Narayana. They are under his protection. In the last dashakam also, he talks, Melpattur says that Sokinkara Vedana Shankito Yama Todangri Bhakteshu Nagamyatamiti Sokiya Bhrityana Shishiksha Duchakai Sadeva Vadalayanath Pahimam. Bhattatiripadu ends with a deeply personal prayer that Lord could save a man who called his name by accident. He will surely save those who call upon him with sincere hearts and conscious intent. So he tells us that holy name is a powerful testament to that idea that it is never too late for redemption. It serves as a spiritual safety net, proving that the grace of the divine is more potent than a lifetime of mistakes. Even in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, sloka 5 tells us that Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yaprayati samadbhavam yati nastyatra samshayaha. And whoever at the time, the meaning is this, whoever at the time of death quits his body, remembering me alone, remembering Narayana alone, at once attain my nature, attain moksha. Of this there is no doubt. That is the last word. Nastyatra samshayaha. There is no doubt at all. So may Lord Krishna bless each one of us, guiding our hearts to the right path, inspiring us to choose good actions, speak the truth, and show compassion. Just like the story teaches, even when we make mistakes, we can turn back, learn, and grow. May His grace help us live wisely, courageously, and kindly, making our life a story full of virtue and happiness. So that is the end of our story today. Goodbye till we meet next time. keep your hearts open of full of wonder and goodness. And if you like this, kindly subscribe and share. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.